Now let's look at the political organization. How was the Kalonga or the Maravi kingdom organized? So the Maravi kingdom was highly centralized, just as we have mentioned, to say the Kalonga was the central part, or the king was the center of the kingdom. So the Kalonga was the overall leader. He was at the center of the political organization. So he had a queen mother by the name Nyangu. So Nyangu was either a sister or a mother to him, that is to the Kalonga. So the queen mother was always there at the king's palace. So this queen mother was either the mother of the Kalonga or the sister of the Kalonga. So what was the role of this queen mother or Nyangu? So her major role was to bear the next king. The successor of the Kalonga was coming from that queen mother, the Nyangu. That is Nyangu. So that's why queen mother was always there at the headquarters. So she was acting as the prime advisor or the prime minister to the king. So there were also paramount chiefs. Apart from the Kalonga, there were paramount chiefs and also the royal officials, the courts officials, the officials that were also assisting the Kalonga, and also the territorial chiefs and the village headmen. They were also there assisting the running of the kingdom. So this is how the Maravi kingdom was organized. So on top, we have the Kalonga as the paramount chief. So under the Kalonga, we have the junior paramounts, or these ones were the like Kapiti, Undi, and Lundu. These ones, they were the junior paramount. But on top was the Kalonga himself as the paramount chief. And under the junior paramounts, there were the territorial chiefs who were also regarded or called the Enidziko. Then under them, there were the Apungu or Ambiri. These were the tributary chiefs, the lesser chiefs. And below them were the village headmen. So these ones, they were Enimudze, the lineage leaders. The Enimudze, they were also regarded just as these ones were regarded as the Enidziko or Apungu under them, and under Apungu they were the Enimudze or the village headmen. So succession and inheritance pattern, it was matrilineal. So inheritance was matrilineal. By matrilineal, we mean that the Kalonga was succeeded by his nephew to the sister's side. That's why Nyangu was there to bear the next king. So the sister of the Kalonga was the one who was producing the next king or the next leader. So Nyangu was succeeded by the daughter of the Kalonga. So here it was funny enough. It was really funny enough. So you can see to it like there is Nyangu was here and the Kalonga here. Now they were all together. Nyangu was regarded as the prime minister, was advisor to the Kalonga. Now we have said Nyangu was the sister. So being the sister was the one who's responsible for the to bear the next Kalonga. So her son was to be the next Kalonga after this Kalonga. However, this next Kalonga would need also to have a queen mother. So that queen mother would come from the reigning Kalonga. So the daughter of the Kalonga would be the next queen mother. So it was just like that. So the Queen Mother was just like interchanging, just like that, to say, all right, the next king goes to the sister's son, while the next Queen Mother goes to the king's daughter. So it was just like that. So the Kalonga, as pointed out, he was the paramount chief and he was the guardian. Some of his duties was the guardian of religion, just as we have said that the kings were also regarded as the custodian or the leaders or religious leaders or possessing the spiritual powers. So another duty was also to control trade, and he had a powerful army. He was also there to raise an army that had bows and arrows. They were fighting using bows and arrows. And also, he had that responsibility or the duty to have absolute powers in the entire kingdom. So his way was the law. If he says, you are moving out of my kingdom, then that was the law. You just need to obey. You move out. If he says you are to be killed, you have to be killed instantly. So he had absolute powers. So within his palace, the Kalonga also had titles or royal officials who were collectively called Ankoswe. So Ankoswe, they were like the guardians, the people who were there with the Kalonga always at the headquarters. They were like the advisors. So the Ankoswe were always with the Kalonga at the king's court. Now, the Ankoswe or the royal officials, what some of them, they were these. There was Kombe. Kombe, his main duty was to be the army commander. So he acted as the army commander. And others were the Fiti Zamirandu, Kapena Abwalo. So they were called Fiti Zamirandu or Abwalo. So these ones, they were the legal specialists. So they were the lawyers. They were there in the laws of the land. So they were the specialists in the laws of the land. So they were there to maintain unity, to maintain justice. So they were there, the Fiti Zamirandu or Abwalo. And there was also Mkomba. So here you need not to confuse the Kombe and Mkomba. So Mkomba was the public relations officer and the executor of criminals. So he was the public relations officer. When you say this one, the public relations officer, what we are trying to say here is that he was the one to communicate to the people the message from the king, to say, all right, the king says this, everyone must obey this. So the king was using this public officer by the name Mukomba. But apart from that, he was also there to execute, to kill the criminals on the command or at the command of the king. And there was also other Ankoswe. These ones were the Katumbi or Malimba. So these ones, they were the messengers. They were the messengers in the charge of drums for summoning the chiefs to the meeting. So they were the messengers who were also called Malimba or Katumbi. Then we have said that under the Kalonga, there were the lesser chiefs, like the territorial chiefs. So the Kalonga was assisted with the ministers or the court officials there. We have just looked at them, the Ankoswe. But them were not having like powers to govern the people. They were just there, just as today, if you go to the state house, there are a lot of people there who are working to assist the president. So that is the same thing. So they are there not to rule Malawi, but just to assist the president to make maybe good decisions, to carry out his decisions well at the palace there. So under the Kalonga, they were the territorial chiefs. They controlled the districts, so they were cousins. So basically, the territorial chiefs, they were cousins or nephew to the Kalonga. So they represented the Kalonga's interest in their chiefdoms. So the relatives of the Kalonga were given some territories to govern, so that the interest of the Kalonga should spread into far and wide. And again, there were also the tributary chiefs. So these ones, they were the tribute-paying chiefs who collected tributes for the territorial chiefs and the Kalonga. So under the territorial chiefs, they were the tributary chiefs. These tributary chiefs, their main duty was to collect the tributes, like the tax from the people. Then they could pay to the territorial chiefs, then later on to the Kalonga. So they also sold the Mzinda to the village headmen for the initiation of young boys and girls. So they had that Mzinda, uh, which was to the village headmen, and that place, it was basically for the initiation of young boys and the young girls. Then we have the village headmen, So these ones, they were the family heads or heads of families, the clan heads. So their main duties were to organize the Nyao ceremonies. Just as you know, the Chewa, they are good at the Nyao dances. Then also to regulate hunting expeditions. They were there to organize hunting expeditions. If they kill the animals, then they pay the tribute to the kings or to the upper chiefs. And also to collect payments from the villages or villagers after buying Nzinda for the young initiates. So they were also there to pay the 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 taxes. They were paying the tributes to collect the payments or the tributes that were due to the upper chiefs, and also to allocate land for the growing of food crops. So they were there, the village headmen, to allocate land to their people, so that the people, they grow crops, and after harvest, parts of it were still going to the Kalonga. Now, let's look at the expansion. How was this kingdom expanded? How did the Maravi kingdom expand? So the kingdom expanded not only through wars, but also due to breakaways. So you have to understand it to say breakaways, they are not bad. They are not always bad, because they sometimes lead to the expansion or spread of ideas. When we go to Form 2, we are also going to look at the Christianity, the rise of Christianity. So we are going to look at it to say when Jesus was crucified, then later on there was that persecution of his disciples, and to run away from persecution, they started to avoid persecution, they started to run away from Jerusalem going into other areas. As they were running, they were also spreading Christianity. That's why we see Christianity, it also it spread far and wide, because people were running away. So breakaways were also part of the expansion of the kingdom. So certain chiefs around 1550 AD, when Chizonzi was the Kalonga, some of the kings or some of the chiefs, they ran away or they break away. So the breakaways led to the growth of the kingdom by extending the borders to other territories by incorporating the subjects into the Maravi kingdom. So when those lesser chiefs, they broke away from the Kalonga, they went very far from the headquarters, but there they maintained the Kalonga or the Maravi tradition. And when they went there, they found other people, they defeated them and forced them to adopt the way of living of the Maravi. So that's why we are saying that the Maravi kingdom expanded through the breakaways. So why did such breakaways took place? Why did such breakaways took place? And the first one, we are saying that there was succession disputes. For example, we are going to talk of Undi. Undi broke away because of the succession disputes and because of magic and the superstition. So Kapwiti went away because of magic or superstition or witchcraft and overpopulation at Mantimba and Mankamba. So there were a lot of people there at the Kalonga's headquarters. As such, there was need maybe to create a room to say, all right, no, we cannot just be packed at one place all the time because we just need to be royal to the king. No, we need also to expand our kingdom. So they went away because the place at Mantimba Mankamba, it was overpopulated. And also unhealthy conditions at Mankamba. Unhealthy conditions, for example, there were mosquitoes and high temperatures. Very hot at Mankamba, Mantimba there. Now, what were the uniting factors? Although we are talking of the breakaways that took place, but there were some of the uniting factors that united these people. So what were they? Number one, there was the trade. So they were linked by trade with the Portuguese along the Zambezi under the Kalonga. So all of them, still more, although they went away, but they were linked together through trade. They were trading with the Portuguese through the Kalonga. And religion. They all worshipped a high god called Chauta. They were worshipping high god Chauta, whose messenger was a large snake called Ntunga or the python. So he acted as a husband to Makewana and Chaua, her daughter, at Msinja. So they religion, they worshipped the high god called Chauta. So they regarded Msinja as their central shrine of worship. So we talked of Sinja in Rilongwe, and that one, it was regarded as the place of worship. So let us look at the duties of Makewana at Sinja. Having looked at the religion as one of the uniting factors in the Malawi kingdom, then we have also said that the Msinja in Rirongwe was the major place of worship, and there it's where there was Makewana as the high priestess. So what were the duties of this Makewana? So let's look at the duties. Number one was to call rain. So rain calling was one of his or her duties. So whenever the snake paid a visit, then there was that rain. Remember, we just said that she got married to that python named Nhunga. And also to make the soil fertile for the farmers. So Makewana was there to make the soils fertile for the farmers, and also to grant success to hunters whenever hunters or maybe a village is now set for the hunting expedition. They were to ask Makewana to give them success, and also to limit flood damages. So she was there to limit the flood damages the floods that we are experiencing this time around, they started a long time ago. So those things, they were associated with a religion to say, all right, mizimu yakwea, therefore if we don't please the spirits, then we are going to be washed away with the floods. So Makewana was there to limit the damages, to pray to the spirits so that the damages are limited. And all members in the kingdom recognized Kalonga as their senior despite the breakaways. So we have to remember this one to say Lundu Lundu and Kapwiti, they went to the lower Shire. That is from Mankamba, they went to the lower Shire. Well, Undi went away to Zambia, and they and all others who also went out from Mankamba. All those who went out, still more, they regarded the Kalonga as their senior, to say this one is our leader, is still our senior. Now let's look at the factors. What were those factors that led to the decline of the Maravi kingdom? So here it's another good one, whereby we are going to look now. We have said that the Maravi expanded, it was very big. Now we're going to look at the internal and external factors that led to the decline of the Maravi kingdom. Now let's start with the internal factors. The kingdom was too big, too vast to be ruled by one king. Hence, it lacked effective administrative skills and failed to hold different parts together. The kingdom itself, it was just very big. Remember, we are talking of the pre-colonial kingdoms. And during this time, just imagine the mode of transport being the ox cart, ngoro. That is the best transport. Now, what distance can you cover using the ox cart? It's not so much. So look at it to say that some people traveled from Mankamba, that is Dedza, to Nsanje. Others from Dedza to Kasungu. Others from Dedza to Nkhotakota to Nkatabe. That's where they settled. The Kabondoli, Kanyenda, Mwase, and the others. They went to different parts from Mankamba. However, we have said that all these, they were still under the Kalonga. Now, how could the Kalonga administer the things that were taking place in Kasungu, in Nkhotakota, in Nkatabe, or in Nsanje? So it was quite difficult. So that's why we are saying the kingdom, it was just too vast to be ruled by one king. Therefore, the effective administrative skills lacked, and the Kalonga failed to put together different parts. As a result, it happened that in the passage of time, the Mwase Kasungu became independent of the Kalonga, the Kabondoli of Nkatabe independent of Kalonga, then the Kanyenda of Nkhotakota became independent of Kalonga. The reason was that the Kalonga could not even sometimes pay them a visit. It could take very long. As a result, it was very big. Another factor, internal factor, was weak defense. So the kingdom itself had no standing army to repel any attack. As a result, no standing army, no ready army. The army was only raised in time of need. As a result, there was weak defense. And also succession disputes. These ones, they intensified hatred, disunity, and breakaways. Succession disputes, to say who is going to be the next leader, who is going to be the next king. Then it weakened the kingdom, in the sense that they started to hate each other. That one cannot be the king. It was better that one. If not that one, it was better me. If you have not chosen me, then I'm going out of this place, like that. So it weakened the kingdom. So, for example, Undi fought the legitimate successor to the Kalonga. So, even Undi did not like the legitimate successor to the Kalonga. Hence, he moved out of the kingdom to Zambia. Another one was the decentralization. Decentralization, this one, it led to ineffective administration as the competent leaders broke away. Decentralization there was also a time in the Maravi kingdom. It was that time, it was referred to as the golden age, whereby now the Kalonga thought to say now the kingdom is just big, or we are just okay here at Mankamba. Now I'm sending some sub-chiefs into the other areas to dominate. So with that, then it also encouraged other people, those who were delegated later on, they resorted to break away. They were not even communicating or getting in touch with the Kalonga. So decentralization, it is whereby the king gave some powers to other lesser chiefs. We have talked of Mkanda, went to Mchinji, and many others. I have mentioned of Kanyenda, Nkota, Kabunduli, went to Nkatabe, Mase, Kasungu, and many others. He spread them further to say, go and rule on my behalf, and that one is what is called decentralization. So that one, it encouraged breakaway. So the Kalonga tolerated decentralization to extend his area of influence. But those whom he delegated power became power hungry and established their own autonomous territories. They later said, now we are independent. We are not attached to the Kalonga. Then the civil wars was also another factor for the decline of the Maravi kingdom. So, for example, Kapwiti and Lundu, they disrupted peace and unity that was prevailing in the kingdom. So, Kapwiti and Lundu, when they went to Lower Shire there, they started even attacking the subjects of the Kalonga. Those lesser chiefs who were paying tribute to the Kalonga, they attacked them to say, now you'll be under us, not the Kalonga, things like that. So they disrupted peace in the kingdom. Then let's look at the external factors. We have looked at the internal factors that contributed to the decline of the Maravi kingdom. Now, on external factors, they include power, loss of power to control trade. There was that loss of power to control trade. For example, the Portuguese traded now directly with the lesser chiefs. Hence, they defied the administration of the Kalonga. So, wherever the lesser chiefs went, they started trading directly with the external trade partners like the Portuguese. As a result, the Kalonga lost the trade monopoly. He lost the trade monopoly. And the other one is the growth of slave trade also contributed to the decline. So slave trade was introduced into the country by the Yao, the Bisa, and the Swahili Arabs. So they disrupted peace and promoted depopulation. They depopulated the area because they just came in the Maravi kingdom, wherever they were, attacking the villages, capturing all able people, and sending them away for slavery. So the rulers lost their power and prestige through this situation. You can see to it that the external people come. They capture all energetic people who were able to work with in the kingdom for the development. All they were gone. Then what we are saying here is that the kings or the rulers of the Kalonga, they lost their power and prestige to say we are a glorious kingdom, a very good and peaceful kingdom. So they lost that. So look at this. Even Kalonga Sosola died at the hands of the Yao raiders. So this slave trade, it was real and it was really pathetic, whereby we see they even attacked the Kalonga. The Kalonga Sosola died in the hands of the Yao slave raiders. Another external factor for the decline of the Maravi kingdom was the invasion by foreign groups, like the Arabs, the Portuguese, as well as the Ngoni. So these ones, they devastated the empire with the superior weapons, and fighting techniques. So here, you can even understand, or you understand it better when we come to Form 3, whereby we'll be looking at the 19th and 20th century immigrants into Malawi. So the Ngoni, they migrated from South Africa. They entered even the Maravi kingdom. So they devastated wherever they were moving. When the people were resisting, they were grabbing their cattle and food, things like those. So those people who came in, they devastated them. Even the Portuguese in the Lower Shire, because the kingdom itself extended into Mozambique itself. So there, the Portuguese at Tete, they had their camp at Tete. Then they also raided the Maravi kingdom. So we see to that one. Then also the other factor was the Makua Rolo nationalism. The Makua Rolo nationalism of 1740. So these ones, the Makua and the Rolo, they rose against the Lundu. Remember Lundu in the Lower Shire. They rose against him and took many lands in the Luangwa Valley and the Lower Shire. So the Makua and the Lolo, they raided, or they rose against the Lundu and they grabbed the land from Lundu. So that one, it limited the expansion of the kingdom. And also colonization. Colonization cannot be left out, because here we are talking of the pre-colonial kingdoms. These kingdoms, they ended with the coming of their power basically was lesser with the coming of the colonization. So colonization of the Maravi area by the British ended up the kingdom's organization, as the area became the British protectorate. So it was like when the British came, they demanded, or they claimed to say, all right, all this area is under the British. So the owner of this is the Queen in Britain and not anyone else. As a result, the Kalonga lost influence, or they lost that organization. Now let's look at the impact of the Maravi kingdom on the indigenous people. Let's look at the impact. What impact did the Maravi kingdom have on the indigenous people? Number one, they promoted trade. So promoted trade with the Portuguese and the natives. So the Tonga, the Tavara, and the Nsenga. So they promoted trade. So promotion of trade is one of the major impact that the Maravi had on the indigenous people. Number two was the introduction of European manufactured goods through the contacts with the Portuguese and the Arabs. So with that, then people were able to acquire things that were from outside, just as we are taken up today with the things that are manufactured from outside. So the same way, the coming of the Maravi into this area, they were in contact with the Portuguese and the Arabs, who were bringing in goods that were made from outside. Therefore, prosperity, there was social advancement as well as prosperity in the indigenous people. And also formation of a strong political empire. So that was another big impact to remember. Formation of a strong political empire due to the presence of guns. Remember, the guns that were exchanged from the Arabs or Swahili Arabs, even the Portuguese, led them to have a very strong political empire or political government, because they were able to use guns to influence, to bring other people under their influence. So they managed to do that. So they even defeated the Makua, even the Nsenga. They were able to bring under their influence. Another impact is the promotion of unity. They promoted unity by incorporating the conquered people. So conquered people were not chased out of their places, but they were incorporated to say, let us coexist, let's live together, although you have been defeated. So they were able to live together. So this was possible through religious practices controlled by the Kalonga and other spiritual leaders. So they incorporated other people through religion. And also they intensified pastoralism and cultivation. So cultivation, remember, they were advanced in the making of iron tools. As a result, cultivation was done at another level. So through their contacts with the Portuguese and Arabs, especially in terms of domestication of animals among the indigenous people. So you can see to it that they were able to acquire new ways of doing things, or pastoralism as well as cultivation of crops. They were able to do that because they got the knowledge from the Portuguese as well as the Arabs. Hence, they were able to apply such knowledge in their kingdom. So they intensified pastoralism and cultivation. And also they facilitated the contact with the Europeans, facilitated contacts with the Europeans in trade, who exposed the interior Africa to the overseas countries. So the coming of the Maravi, they knew their trade partners to say, all right, should we go somewhere? When they traveled all the way from Zaire, they knew to say, right, our main trade partners are the Arabs as well as the Portuguese. Therefore, when they came here, they introduced the Europeans in this country. And not only that, they made this area known to the external world to say, all right, there is another area there where there are people whom we can trade with. So it also provided a model of good political organization for other pre-colonial states. Look at, we said that the Maravi, they were accepted because of their knowledge of administration. They had good knowledge of centralized political system. So that system, it was good, and many other societies or states, they also copied to say, yes, but this type of leadership is good. So it was like a model of good political organization. Now, the heritage, we have to come now to closer to the end by looking at, say, that the heritage created by the Maravi Kingdom is still visible in Malawi, in Zambia today. So the descendants of the early organization continue to meet and celebrate the Chewa culture and maintain the their tradition. So remember, each and every year you hear that the Chewas, they are going to Zambia for Kulamba. That is their Chewa tradition. They go there to commemorate or to maintain their heritage. So we see to it that there is a tie, a very close relationship between the Chewa of Malawi and that the Chewa of Zambia. The reason is that the Chewa of Zambia are regarded to be superiors. The reason is this. When Undi broke away, he went away with the Queen Mother. You remember now, when by just mentioning Queen Mother here, now you know what it means. It means that the next king of the Kalonga comes from that one. So when he went away with that Queen Mother, it meant that here now there was no one to produce the next king. Therefore, the next leader was the one who was to be produced by Queen Mother, who went away with the Lundu. Therefore, that's why Kalonga Gawaundi remains to say he is superior than the Chewa of Maravi, because after he went away, there was no one here to say now the next leader, the legitimate leader of the Maravi is this one. It was only the one who went with Zambia. That's why who went with Undi to Zambia. That's why the Chewa of Malawi, they are the ones who go to Zambia, and not the Chewa of Zambia coming to Malawi. Yes, they come, but they just come on the festivals that happen here. But the major the big celebration is in Zambia, because that's where the senior Chewa is. Now, we have come to the end of this part of the Maravi kingdom. But then I would love that we go through these questions together, because I need to see that you are following this thing, or you are really putting your effort on this one. So you have to attempt this question, because we have covered this to this far. We have covered a lot of things, from the origins of the Maravi, how they migrated from Zaire, the places where they stopped, their leaders and organization of the kingdom, and even the factors for the rise and the factors for the decline. We have all looked at all those things. So these are the questions. I want you to go through these questions, and you have to see to it that you attempt almost all of these questions. So these are the questions. There are about 8 of them. So remember to do this. After you have gone through this lesson, then stop it, attempt the questions, write them on a piece of paper and answer them there. Then what you have to do, you need to get the phone. You get the phone, your phone, then capture. You take a picture of your answers. Then you send that those answers via the WhatsApp number or the email, if you can manage to do that on email. So this is the WhatsApp number as well as the email address. So forward these your answers. So what I will do in the end is that I will retrieve your answers, I will mark your answers and send you back, including maybe the correct answers to where you have missed. So it will be a very, very wonderful time for me as well to receive your answers and mark your answers. Please try to do that. Try to do that so that we move through together. So the next time we are going to look at the Nkamanga, the Tumbuka Nkamanga kingdom. That will be another part of the pre-colonial kingdoms. Remember, we said that we're going to look at 2. The first one, the Maravi, we have just looked at it. Then the next one, we are going to look at the Nkamanga kingdom. So remember to be there. Just stay focused. Thank you so much for your time.